What if I told you that one single morning changed the fate of Muslims, America, and the entire world forever? 9/11 became the biggest news story of the 21st century. A single day that changed the lives of Muslims all over the world forever. On one side stood the world's biggest superpower, the United States, and on the other side was one man, Osama bin Laden, later labeled as the most wanted terrorist in the world. This was not the first time someone had tried to attack America's Twin Towers. At that time, the World Trade Center was among the tallest buildings on Earth, and without a doubt, one of the most famous structures in the world. Nearly 500 Hollywood movies had been filmed inside or around these buildings. Anyone who targeted them knew one thing very well. If the World Trade Center fell in New York, it would become the biggest news story in the world. Just imagine if someone today destroyed the Burj Khalifa. Exactly 23 years ago, the global situation was very different. The Soviet Union had already collapsed. China was not yet powerful enough to challenge anyone. The United States was the one and only superpower, with no real challenger on the planet. Then, on an ordinary day, September 11th, 2001, 19 people arrived at different airports across America with a single mission to hijack 4 commercial airplanes. According to all official American reports, all 19 hijackers were Muslims, belonging to countries like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Lebanon, and the UAE. Each plane was hijacked by a 5-man team. Every person had a specific role, and all of them had been training for months. As soon as the planes took off, the plan was activated. Just 15 minutes into the flight, the first group of hijackers stood up. Using small knives and box cutters, they quickly took control of the plane. Both pilots were killed, and Mohammed Atta was placed in the pilot's seat. All passengers were pushed to the back and told clearly, "The pilots are dead. Only Mohammed Atta can land this plane now." The passengers stayed silent, but the hijackers never intended to land. By mistake, Mohammed Atta pressed the wrong button and connected directly with New York Air Traffic Control. He calmly said something like, "Everything is under control. Please stay seated. We are heading to the airport." This created confusion at the airport. Runways were cleared and officials waited for the plane to land. But it never arrived. Soon, airport authorities were informed that the plane had crashed into the World Trade Center. At first, American media called it a tragic accident. President George W. Bush was sitting in a Florida school when his secretary quietly informed him. His first reaction was the same. This must be an accident. But then, the second plane was hijacked, exactly according to plan. The timing was intentional. Whoever planned this wanted the world to witness the second impact live. A 23-year-old hijacker, Marwan al-Shehhi, took control of the second plane and turned it toward New York. While news channels around the world were broadcasting the first crash as an accident, the second plane slammed into the South Tower, live on television. At that moment, the world understood this was not an accident. America was under attack. The president was informed again. "Mr. President, America is under attack." Military went on full alert. All flights across the country were ordered to land immediately, but 2 hijacked planes were still in the air. The third plane was turned toward Washington, D.C. Flying low and at full speed, it crashed into the Pentagon, the headquarters of the world's most powerful military. Media coverage shifted from New York to the Pentagon. One plane still remained. Fearing it would hit the U.S. Capitol, The vice president ordered fighter jets to intercept it, even if all passengers had to die. But that plane never reached its target. Passengers, after learning the truth through phone calls to their families, decided to fight back. They stormed the cockpit. In desperation, the hijacker lost control and the plane crashed into an empty field, preventing another massive attack. Within an hour, the South Tower collapsed. Soon after, the North Tower fell as well. Nearly 3,000 people were killed. Hundreds jumped from the upper floors to escape the fire. In the days that followed, families of the hijackers denied involvement. Some blamed Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad. Islamic scholars across the world condemned the attacks. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Grand Mufti of Mecca, and even Iran's supreme leader all declared clearly, these attacks have nothing to do with Islam. Yet, Islamophobia exploded in the West. Muslims were attacked, fired from jobs, and killed. Television debates questioned whether Islam was a peaceful religion at all. Despite Osama bin Laden initially denying involvement, America blamed Al-Qaeda and demanded the Taliban hand him over. The Taliban asked for evidence. America refused. 1 month later, the U.S. invaded Afghanistan. President Bush called it a crusade. The war on terror began. The Taliban government fell within months. A new U.S. Daesh-backed leader, Hamid Karzai, was installed, but corruption, civilian casualties, and foreign occupation fueled resistance. The war dragged on for 20 years. In 2011, Osama bin Laden was finally killed in Abbottabad, Pakistan, during a U.S. operation. His death was confirmed by both Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. But the war did not end. America stayed for strategic power, regional control, and Afghanistan's rare minerals like lithium. In 2021, after 20 years, the U.S. withdrew. Within days, the Taliban returned to Kabul without a fight. Afghanistan once again proved why it is called the graveyard of empires. Over 4.6 million people died in the war on terror. 40 million were displaced. $8 trillion were spent. The biggest winners were not nations or people, but weapons manufacturers.